Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton at Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. I want to say bienvenidos to all of our listeners in Latin America, also across the pond, and London, England, as well as Paris, France, and of course, you good old boys from Canada. You know we love you in Africa. We love the Big C tribe. But Big C, there's no one we love more than you good old boys down south in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Big C, how's it going on a beautiful June 29th, 2018, Big C?
Well, Charlton, it's going wonderful, and ironically, this is the last time that I'll talk to you in June of 2018.
Oh, really? Going on vacation?
I'm going to miss you,
okay.
Until next month.
Okay, sounds good. I think the best guy that ever sang a song about missing somebody was Aaron Hall when he sang that song, Missing You. Man, I love the way that brother sings deep. I kind of get nervous when I started singing that deep because I don't want my voice to lose, but that brother can really sing. So much happening in the world of the sports universe. World Cup, I guess we told everybody Putin was tampering the Big C sports line, so they called a halt to World Cup action just on Friday just to investigate the phone lines from what I'm understanding, because I might be wrong for that. But also we know, everybody want to know, where's Spike Lee going to be next year? Is he going to be a Laker guy following LeBron James across the country, or will he stay at New York? Who's going to sign where? Who's on first? Who's on second? All that good old boy stuff. NFL football training camp happens, Big C, when we come back on the air in July, so we're looking forward to that. But I want to start off first. I just want to pay homage to some of our Hollywood people, all the Hollywood actors that are out there doing their things. But I know we bring it up every now and then. You bring up the late Jackie Gleason, and he had that movie back in the day where he had Burt Reynolds, and I believe there was
Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. Was Sally Fields also in there? Smokey and the Bandit.
Sally Fields, Jerry Reed, Charlton, a host of characters in that movie that, it's one of the all-time great comedies that anybody could ever want to watch.
Yeah, it was definitely funny. But I want to get your thoughts on something. When we talk about what our country needs, we all believe in prayer. We believe in God. We believe in politics, doing everything that's real. Just like going to the barbershop, you hear people talk about what's real. Now, there's a comedian, not a comedian, but a Marvel comic by the name of Luke Cage. My son was watching him the other day. Big C, he looks a lot like you. He just might be a little bit more thin in the waistline, Big C, but he looks a lot like you. And to see these Marvel comic book heroes and guys that could do anything, and going back to the late Jackie Gleason, who made you laugh so much. But this morning, just doing a workout, I'm telling you, we played basketball. This guy looked like Killmonger from Black Panther. He had all the moves. He had the same physique. And he even had his hair put in those little braids that Killmonger had in the Black Panther, played by Michael B. Jordan. And when we brought up conversation, we all talked about what made you laugh. Jackie Gleason made a lot of people laugh from all genres. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, he was just an iconic figure, from his days on television, working in that. And, his movie roles, he started off more of a serious actor, Charlton. I remember him, playing Minnesota Fats.
Yeah.
In a movie where he was this great golfer night pool player.
The pool player, yeah.
Which he was in true life, Charlton. He was a great billiards player in real life. But Jackie Gleason, as he got older, he realized his comedic side even more.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of stand-up and roast on television, Charlton. But once he was able to just let go on the big screen and be himself, where you're unfiltered to a degree. You could say those words that are not allowed to be used in television and radio.
Anymore, yep. Yep.
That has more than 3 letters and less than 5.
That's always funny with him.
He did a lot of that, Charlton. But, just his mannerism, when you looked at him physically, he looked like the guy next door.
Yeah.
He wasn't in great shape. He smoked a lot.
Yep.
And, he just had fun.
Yeah.
So, when you look at Jackie Gleason and some of the greatest lines that you could ever used in a movie. I remember especially in Smoking the Bandit when they were in the restaurant. And, he ordered a burger and stuff, and, the bandit sitting right next to him. What's going on, Sheriff? You searching for a bandit?
Yeah.
He said, a bank robber or something? And he told him that bank robbery was baby squat compared to what this dude had done,
Yep.
And so, he was going on, and I know you like to emulate one of the lines. It's like, there's no way that you could have come from my loins. The first thing when I get home, I'm going to punch your mama in the mouth. And all kind of things that this guy did throughout the movie. And his son, Junior, took the brunt of it.
Yes.
But, great actors like Jackie Gleason, he started out on the Lucille Ball show.
Yep.
Where he played her husband. And Edward Norton, was his neighbor and all that, Charlie.
Yeah.
But, it showed how he came from black and white television.
Yep.
That he was in every American's home on the week, Charlie. During the week. Every American. So everybody knew who Jackie Gleason was.
Yeah.
On the Honeymooners.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, once he got to the big screen, he made you laugh even more as you grew up listening, Charles.
Yeah, I tell you what, I do want to say this segment is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. And when you go by and test drive Sure, tell them Charlton and Big C said to you. You brought up Lucille Ball. I remember my grandmother watching the Lucille Ball show, and I was just a little boy when I saw this, but there was one with Lucille Ball and her friend, I think her name was it Ethel? I think that's her name, was Ethel. And they were working, Ethel Mertz. They were working on this assembly line, and they were wrapping chocolate balls. And something happened where they started to eat a couple, and they couldn't keep up with the chocolate ball. They were stuffing their mouth full of chocolate. My grandmother about fell over in her chair. I'll never forget, even as a little boy, that was one of the funniest scenes, seeing Lucille Ball, also with her husband was Ricky. And that was, I guess you want to call it, interracial couple on television. But it
actually was, Charlie.
Was it the first one?
It was the first interracial couple on television. And he was Cuban, but, Ricky Ricardo was her husband. And you think about it, back in those days, Charlton, couples had to sleep in twin beds on television.
Yeah.
Even though, she was pregnant on the show.
From a twin bed? How'd you get pregnant in a twin bed?
Because, her son, Ricky Jr. was their son that played on the show. He grew up on the show, Charlton. So you think about how TV has changed over the years with the stuff that they put on and, that's put in front of young people, even older people, Charlton, on mainstream television. When you go back to the Honeymooners, when Lucy and Ricky slept in separate beds, and all couples did in those days, Charlton.
Well, ironically, I know a lot of married couples that sleep in separate beds today, Big C, so maybe it had nothing to do with the show. But, Gleason made us laugh. I talked to the guy this morning. I won't name drop, but he does have a sister that plays in the WNBA, and then 4 players that he played with back in the South, they're all playing in the NBA, playing basketball. So we just had that thought and had that conversation about, what happened to America's media and what happened to people feeling good again. And we both came up, we all loved the movie Black Panther, but we also talked about how the late Jackie Gleason made us laugh. So hopefully everybody can find more entertainment in the world of the sports universe. I think about some of the things that are going on in today's world. And I know, number one, a lot of people are talking about the NBA, where somebody's going to play NBA basketball. Now, when you think back to the days, Big C, when we had Lou Alcindor that came out of the scene, we had Bill Cartwright that came out of Northern California, and then, Casey Jones, Bill Russell, all these great Hall of Fame players. Well, now Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but just so many of them. Oscar Robertson, we talked about him being awarded at the NBA award show. But would you believe, with all those great Hall of Famers, Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, Moses Malone, there's so many of them. There's a handful of players now that make more money than all of those guys combined that don't even have championships, and everybody wants to know where these guys are going to go. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you look at the media world from the sports perspective, when you run out of content, let's say the same thing over and over. Let's recycle the story we did yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's recycle the story we did last week. Let's recycle the story we did last night.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Where is this going? No, LeBron is not even in the country.
No.
You know, when you think about it, he's in Antigua right now.
Yeah.
So he's not even in the country. So who is in love with LeBron going where?
Yeah.
LeBron has it figured out where he's going to be. There's no secret to where LeBron is going to be. He opted out of his contract today with Cleveland. He let them know that he opted out. But just because he opted out, Charlton, doesn't mean that he's going to leave.
Yeah.
He still has the ability to stay in Cleveland for the next contract of $35.6 million.
Yeah.
Now, if LeBron chooses to go elsewhere other than Cleveland, because the max contract total in Cleveland would be $205 million. Okay? Now,
Yeah.
I know you got that somewhere under a mattress.
Yeah, I won it last night in the lotto. It was tonight I'm winning the lotto, Big C. Go. Yeah, thank you for being so clairvoyant. You know, a lot of things you say come true, Big C.
But $205 million, and people are saying, how can LeBron turn down $205 million over 4 or 5 years? So he made $250,000 in endorsements this past season.
Yeah.
Not counting his contract. So if he opts out, Charlton, and chooses to go to another team, he's going to be paid a paltry $157 million.
Yeah.
Now, you know, he might not be able to maintain all his houses on $157 million. I'm not sure. I don't know what his overhead is
Exactly.
at this point.
Exactly.
But, you know, this is what gets me when I get these sports broadcasters talking about the dollar signs.
Yeah.
They talk about the dollar signs like these multi-million-dollar athletes are broke.
Yeah.
Like, you know, $20 million is going to make the difference in their life when they've already made enough already in their young careers or in LeBron's lengthy career to be set for life, whether he picks up a basketball again or not.
Yes.
His outside entities, Charlton, will pay him $1 billion once he retires.
Yeah.
Through his endorsements, the properties that he possessed, Charlton, that he owns in production. So people are sitting here saying that, LeBron, you have to play here because you're going to be broke.
Yeah.
They don't understand what has happened in the landscape of professional athletics, Charlton, over the last 10 years. How free agency has become the dominant force for an athlete. That an athlete can dictate to an owner like a Dan Gilbert,
Yeah.
I control you.
Yeah.
Dan Gilbert is the most tense man in America right now.
You think so?
He honestly is.
Yeah.
He's the most tense man in America.
Why
He's
is
trying
he
to look-
tense? Why is he tense, Big C?
Why? Because his net worth is hinging on what happens over the next week or so.
Oh, yeah? So you
His net worth could dip, Charlton, 20%
Wow.
over the next week or so.
Yeah.
Based on what LeBron does. If LeBron leaves Cleveland, Charlton, you have a shell of a team. You have one of the lower teams in the NBA. They will rank in the lower, you know, below 25th ranked team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Because what do you have other than LeBron?
Yeah.
And how would you get somebody to come to Cleveland to want to play there without having the opportunity to play with LeBron?
Yeah.
That's been the only appealing factor of Cleveland, Charlton, and the opportunity to play with LeBron. Nothing else.
Well, you know, it
I mean,
go ahead, C. Go ahead.
so, you know, wherever LeBron goes, there's no guarantee if he leaves Cleveland, Charlton, that you're going to land another free agent.
Well, it does
You know,
bring to
but-
mind what that commercial, what can Brown do for you? If they talk about skin color or the company, I think a lot of people can see what Brown can do for you, especially in the world of the sports universe. I do want to get your thoughts, though, Big C, and I'll let you finish up, but if he's worth so much money, why is he jumping off cliffs? I just want to understand. He did land in water, so that's a smart thing, but why is he jumping off cliffs, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you think he didn't have somebody jump off that cliff before he went off just to test the safety of it, Charlton?
Yeah.
LeBron is an individual like everybody else, Charlton. He loves fun. He has a family. He's doing family things, spending the time with his family. He's removed himself from this media circus.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother him. You know, he's the guy that's in control. But the media all wants to say, well, I said it first.
Yeah.
I told you he was going to go there. I'm the one that predicted this. I knew what LeBron was going to do. Matter of fact, one of his buddies today on a show on the mothership, he was lost because he didn't know what was going to occur. So for once, he couldn't come on the air and say, well, I can guarantee you this.
Yeah, I
as he
guarantee
always
you.
does.
Yeah.
Just like he did in the NBA Finals, saying that Kevin Durant wanted nothing to do with LeBron in Game 1.
And he won MVP.
and I think in Game 5, LeBron didn't want anything to do with Kevin Durant. Oh, was it a Game 5?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I think I'm glad you brought that thing up too, because I mean, there's nothing fun if you don't have some competition. And as we say on Big C Sports, on everything, Google it, whether it's Vibranium or Lions, and they're doing commercials about Vibranium and the BET Awards. They're talking about Lions as one of your favorite friends that said that Durant wanted nothing to do with LeBron. I guess he wasn't prescient enough to see that Durant was going to be the NBA Finals MVP. And so it's one thing to come on and grandstand, but at least come on and say I was wrong. I mean, we say we're wrong all the time. Just Google it. You can find out now. You don't have to find out next week if we're right or wrong. That's what I love about bringing together the sports universe. But I want to get your thoughts on something. You think about LeBron, whether he comes to LA or not, it really doesn't matter. If he comes to the Western Conference, I think it's bad for the NBA. I think it's bad because you already have a plethora of stars in Golden State, the land of Vibranium, and Curry's going to stay there. Durant's most likely going to stay there. Thompson's going to stay there at least this year coming up, okay? In the next season, when they go over to San Francisco in the new Chase Center, there's some people who are going to be offered a lot of money instead of making maybe $7 to $10 million to play in Golden State. Maybe you come to this team in the East and we'll pay you $25 million. Now, you may already have 3 or 4 championships. So it's not like they're chasing the Bulls for Michael Jordan's era. So if LeBron comes to the West, does that get Silver to say, wait a minute, we got to get some people to start going to the Eastern Conference? If it's not, it's going to be very tilted when it comes to the NBA Finals. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, the Eastern Conference is in good hands right now when you talk about the process. Look at where the Boston Celtics are. You know, a very young team loaded with up-and-coming players in the NBA that went to the Eastern Final. Look at the Philadelphia 76ers, Charlton. They were 1 game short of being in the Eastern Finals. And we're talking about 2 young teams where the average age of their best players, Charlton, is 25 or under.
Yeah.
So these teams are going to be around for a long time. Yes, Toronto got swept by Cleveland, but Toronto has improved each of the last 3 seasons, Charlton, in the NBA.
Yeah.
Look at what Indiana did with the run that they did. They took Cleveland to 7. We know that everybody who played Cleveland had to play against James.
And they know it too, yep.
they know that,
yeah.
and the NBA does also. But Charlton, look at how loaded the NBA West is already.
Yes.
You had the winningest team in the league last year in Houston, so it's almost prohibitive for LeBron to go to Houston because of the contract that he would demand. You can't re-sign Chris Paul.
And not enough basketballs either.
Because Chris Paul needs that money, and then you also have to put 3 basketballs on the court at the same time.
It'd be like the Lucille Ball show with all those chocolates coming off the conveyor belt, Bixie. Who's going to get it first? We know Harden's not giving it up since he won the MVP, allegedly won the MVP. I know they gave it to him, but we know who the real MVP was jumping off the cliffs. LeBron was so mad he'd rather jump off a cliff than show up at the NBA Awards because they knew it wasn't real, Bixie. Your thoughts?
Well, you look at him, then you look at the Pelicans that are up and coming with Anthony Davis and his Boogie Cousins.
Yes.
Can get some help back. Who knows what that team can do? I mean, they can press people. We saw Mitchell and the Utah Jazz really explode onto the scene this year, Charlton.
Yeah, Donovan's
They
good.
put a lot of pressure on people. San Antonio will find a way to be competitive. Popovich just does it, whether he keeps Kawhi Leonard or not.
Yeah.
Portland is that enigma out there in the West Coast, Charlton.
Yes.
They're a good enough team to win 50 games, but they got to figure out what to do in the playoffs.
They need a big guy.
So where do you go in the West? Do you go to the Lakers, a team that had, 25 wins last year, I believe?
Yeah.
You know, that's like 25% of a dollar, a quarter?
Yo, they'll come back.
That means
they'll
it's not
be
worth
back.
much.
Yep.
And so what's there to attract LeBron? I understand everybody saying that Magic has to make this happen. Magic doesn't play anymore. He's not walking through the door at the end of the day and go out there and win a championship, Charlton. That's just not going to happen. That magical season of his rookie season is not going to occur again.
Yes.
So what do you package up to attract LeBron? You got to get rid of contracts. Maybe Randall is the only guy that you could get rid of.
Yeah.
He's the only one of value on the team. Everybody else is a young guy that you don't want to get rid of.
Yeah.
Kuzma and Randall are the best players on the team, Charles.
Yes, they are.
And so where are you going to go after that? And you don't have a point guard because if you bring in LeBron, Ball has to go to the bench. So he can't play. So this wasted number 1 draft pick that you had last season, you have to deal him.
Yeah. It's
So,
always,
you know, this is what when you look at the structure of the NBA West, Chauncey, why would you bring LeBron in to compete with just Western games? And for marketing from the NBA putting games on television, you're only going to show West Coast games, Charlton?
Yeah.
Think about that. These games are kicking off, 7:30, 8 o'clock at night?
7:30 at night, 7:30, yeah.
Okay, so you're looking at the earliest at 10 p.m. tip-off in the East. Where's the NBA ratings going to go?
That's
what you have to consider.
Yeah.
People got to stay up past midnight to watch LeBron complete a basketball game every time he plays.
Yeah.
The NBA looks at marketing also, Charlton, as well as player movement and fines. If I'm not going to make revenue from television, I don't know if I can embrace that move.
Yeah.
If I'm the commissioner.
Even that's a great point. Even if you have Giannis staying over there, being the guy that people want to tune into when you watch the Milwaukee Bucks, that's not a national draw. Even Davis, if they can keep Boogie Cousins and Davis together, I think Davis is better without Boogie being around, but based on how he gets better with his health and that torn Achilles, I think having 2 twin towers makes a big difference. But with Davis there, he doesn't need that other guy to hog up the paint. He's good enough in his own. But even New Orleans, they're not a big media draw. I mean, they could be because Davis is good, especially if they have Rondo, making sure he gets the ball into him. But I like the fact that no matter...
Well, Rondo is opting out for free agency.
He's opting out. Well, that's something else they're going to have to do. Maybe Holiday is going to be the one. But they need to build Davis and be that staple player down south. If you go out to the East Coast, you have Boston. They have a good core of players. But it still swings back to Golden State, at least for this year. Because there are a lot of people that may opt out next year when they go into the new Chase Center. But it's still great. Basketball is a fantastic game. I think what people can see right now is that NBA basketball, I love NFL. I mean, people say NFL's king. But I find more people, Big C, and I know you're a big football guy. You love all of the sports. But I find more people being more enamored to watch NBA playoffs than they do NFL playoffs. And then baseball, I thought I was watching a game from Miami the other day, and I thought maybe it was batting practice. There must have been behind home plate maybe 3 people that I could see, and TV tried to pan down so you couldn't see how empty it was. There was a time they had 3 or 4 yellow shirts. That looked like they were working for security that sat behind home plate. So it didn't look like people forgot about the game, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, when you look at where the NBA playoffs, they had their highest ratings ever this last season. Think about that. The number of years that the NBA has been on television, and everybody was saying, well, people were tired of seeing Golden State and Cleveland. It had the highest championship rating, Charlton, in history for 4 games.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who
it's called fake news, Big Z. It's fake news.
I'm not sure who our other sports people are who are tired. And,
yeah.
Like I said, always want to be on top of the story and have the news first.
Yes.
But they didn't come back and recant the statement that they made, saying that people were tired.
No.
No, because people were more enamored by it than they ever had been before, Charlton.
Yeah.
LeBron brings that interest.
Yeah.
But if LeBron can't make it to the NBA Finals, Charlton, how do you sell that to the sponsors?
That's true.
That's what you got to look, because if he comes to the West, there's potentially a 2-year hiatus, Charlton, of LeBron being competitive. Because you speak about Golden State a lot. Steve Kerr just signed a new extension that will make him one of the highest paid coaches in the NBA. So he's intact.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that if ownership is investing in Kerr to make him a long-term extension, Charlton, when he talked about retiring, but he couldn't turn down the money that they just offered him.
Yep.
Okay? Because he's making more now than what he did as a player, and he won several titles as a player.
Yes.
But the money where it is now, and you secure this coach that has built this dynasty, why wouldn't you want to keep the players that you have? You do all that you need to do to keep the players. Every player, Charlton, in professional sport wants to win a championship, at least be competitive enough to win a championship. When you go back and you look at Hall of Famers in baseball, basketball, football, hockey, those players, Charlton, that did not win a championship, they will always tell you, that's the one thing that I'm missing.
Yeah.
He said, I will get back all my records, all my awards. Let me win a championship. That's the ultimate prize, Charlton, for all professional athletes. The money now is unrealistic that players make, because old-time players just fantasize about what the guys did and they're mad at their parents.
Yeah.
Because they were born 20, 30, 40 years too soon.
Yeah.
You know, they walk around looking at them with twisted eyes and, you know, I can push you out of there. We don't care something. You know?
Maybe they should have slept in bunk beds.
On that part now. But,
yeah.
You know, this is what you say, you know, to your parents. You know, look, you couldn't hold off a little longer.
Yeah.
You know, listen what these guys are making now as I'm walking around on my cane and I'm limping after my multiple leg surgeries.
Yes.
But, you know, when people sitting here talking about where players are going, why they're going there, players are looking at the best opportunity to win a championship, especially if you get late in your career, Charlton.
Yes.
You're not sitting, looking around, going to rebuild a team. If you're 35 years old, why do you want to spend the next 2 years babysitting a team that may not develop? There's no guarantees that it's going to develop. You can't bring in enough veterans to make it stable. Everybody has to think back to when LeBron went to Miami, Charlton.
Yep.
Look at the veteran players that were there. They didn't play with rookies. They didn't play with second-year players hoping that they would develop. They brought in bona fide NBA players. People took less so they could form this super team.
Yeah.
I don't know if players now, Charlton, have that intellect that I can take less, get a championship that is going to be worth a lot of money in the long haul.
Yeah.
Everybody wants it now.
Yeah, they all want it now. And I still want to say the great Bill Russell, when he was telling Charles Barkley, after Barkley made a snide remark, he just held out his middle finger and said, "Where's your ring?" I don't think he would give him the bird. I'm still trying to defend what Russell did, but we know a lot of athletes, just like anybody else, people laugh, man. Don't take it so serious. I can't believe that Bill Russell gave Barkley the bird. Well, you know Barkley likes to eat chicken, so they were just kind of playing some type of word search game. But it was about, do you have a ring and where's your ring? I know a lot of guys want to know what's going to happen in the NBA. Last thing I want to bring on about NBA basketball, when you talk about what Silver's done and how the game has really surpassed football for fan-wise. Even in Northern California, you have two NFL teams in the Raiders and the 49ers. You have two Major League Baseball teams in the Giants and the Oakland A's. You have one NBA team in Golden State, but then you have the Sharks down in San Jose in the Bay Area. There's more Golden State paraphernalia, not just because they won a title this year again, but you see it all the time. There's more Golden State paraphernalia than you see with the Oakland Raiders and the 49ers. And I know there's only 5 guys on the floor at one time, but there's something about how the NBA has marketed and has put its athletes out front and has done a great job, Big C, of making it available for everybody. Back in the day, you couldn't see the finals until midnight. Now you see them all the time. I want to give Silver a great job for doing that. Even the Sacramento Kings, the city of Sacramento, they sold out Summer League. Who would sell out Summer League basketball to see, some players that are just going to be first-year players? Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, that's how this game is marketed worldwide, not just here in the U.S. You look at China. You look at the European League that's going on, Charlton. The NBA is such a huge marketing thing. If you look at Klay Thompson, he's over in Asia. This is where he's been for the past month, Charlton.
Yeah.
On his marketing campaign over there. He is huge over there, Charlton, because when you look at the Asian culture backdrop in the Bay Area, it made it easy for him to assimilate over there across the water, Charlton.
Yeah.
And he makes huge money over there. And so that's why, as I sit around and listen to these players, not the players, but the broadcasters talk about the players.
Yeah.
Where are they going to go? This type of money. They need to sit down one day and do a show on endorsement money. That's what they need to do.
Yep.
And they start sitting there, and then the fan would get a true perspective. It's like, it's the team's salary that's their second source of income.
Yeah, that's a second job.
That's their part-time job.
Part-time job I start the NBA.
Yeah. The endorsement money that they make, Charlton.
I've never heard it said that way.
Like I said, when LeBron can make $250 million endorsement for last basketball season for what he does off the court, $250 million. And people are saying, well, he's willing to walk away from $35 million. But like I said, I don't have a calculator or even a pencil and paper in front of me right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm kind of thinking that the $35 million might be way less than what this $250 million is. I'm not sure. I'm not a genius. I'm not as smart as LeBron.
Yeah.
Because nobody paid me that kind of money.
Yeah, you get that kind of money, you get smarter for sure.
But when I'm sitting here around listening to all the other reporters who do our business saying that, he would be foolish to walk away from a $205 million max contract.
Yeah.
But they never bring up, well, he made $250 million last season. Not over 5 years, last season.
Hey, so would W.E.B. Du Bois call LeBron one of those talented 10th? Or would they call him the slang word uppity? Would he be called would Jackie Gleason say he's uppity, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Jackie and a whole lot of other people talking. Dan Gilbert said he's uppity. The owner of the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Would say he called LeBron uppity when he left the organization years ago going to Miami. He's like, how could that uppity leave here? Write a letter, put it in the paper, how he despised him.
Yeah.
Because the amount of money he had just cost him.
Yep.
His team wasn't going to be on TV. His arena wasn't going to be on TV.
Yep, that's funny.
He was going to be one of the worst 10 teams in the NBA now. Because his uppity person left him.
You ever break up with somebody, Big C, and then, I think the Jackson 5 sing a song about I Want You Back. You ever break up with somebody, and she burned all your clothes? I think it was called, Angela Bassett played in a movie, I think it was Waiting to Exhale.
Waiting to Exhale.
And she burned up old boy's shirts and his clothes in this BMW. And she didn't take him back. But what if LeBron, when he's watching...
Well, the best line about that, Charlton, when the fire department, showed up and said, do you know that there's a fire ordinance in this town? He said, I was just burning trash. And they said, well, it's a law against burning trash. She said, well, just write me a ticket. It was trash anyway.
Yeah, that's funny. So when LeBron James and Cleveland put it on their best suit, the best attire, they got the best linens that my grandma would do when people came on. But she would have that plastic on that sofa. No matter how nice you dress, you have to sit on that plastic sofa at grandma's house. When he wants to see their best behavior for how they want him to come back to Cleveland, how many times has he, his wife, or his children watched those same people that love him now burning? They were waiting to exhale when they were burning his jerseys last time, Big C. Why would he come back? And he may come back, but why do you go back to somebody when they burn your clothes, Big C? Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, Charlton, I look at that as how they talk about it in the political arena now, how they saying that mainstream is attacking people in the administration, and making comments against their children. No one in the sports world looked at that people were attacking LeBron's family.
Sure were.
As far as what the public was saying, when you're burning this man's jersey and you got a noose around a mannequin with his jersey on it, burning it, Charlton, this is what the public and the population of Cleveland did to LeBron.
Yeah.
Think about what that could do to his young children, Charlton,
of course.
mentally.
Of course.
That, you're horrified that people are thinking this low of your dad, that they would do this to him over a sporting event.
Yeah.
That people were talking about LeBron was trash, setting his clothes on fire because his name was on there, and that's representing how they felt about him.
Yeah.
That they want to just burn him.
Yeah.
And so his family's involved in that. And that's one of the stories and spins that mainstream media didn't put on that, Charlton.
Nope.
That this was a direct attack on LeBron and his family. Not LeBron, but LeBron and his family, because his family are synonymous. And he'll tell you that any day.
Yeah.
That his wife is the princess. Well, his wife is the queen and his daughter is the princess.
Yeah.
So this is how he thinks about his children, Charlton. But the public glorified what that city was doing to him in a negative light.
Yeah.
And they didn't speak harshly about these people.
No, they didn't.
So you think about that. It was almost like the shooting that took place at the newspaper yesterday in Baltimore.
And that was horrible.
The second oldest newspaper in the United States. This is a newspaper, Charlton, that published the original Declaration of Independence.
Yes.
It was the first paper in our country to put the Declaration of Independence in there the week after it was written.
Yeah.
And these were journalists, Charlton, not the big-time people that you see on TV, that you hear on the news. They did local stuff. They concentrated in that area, Charlton.
Yes.
And you had somebody who they had a lawsuit with, Charlton.
Yes.
That despised them. Now, what if this had been those same type of phobia people going after LeBron or his family? Just like this guy went after the newspaper because of a lawsuit. And it forced him to say lose his business. This is the same scenario that people are looking at in Cleveland with Dan Gilbert.
Yes.
Look at what LeBron is costing him. So they have to be very careful of how they put certain things on television. But because you had these sport networks glorifying this horrible thing, Charlton.
Yeah.
And they said, well, it's just the fans. No, if you don't show it, they don't do it.
That's a very good point. They don't even show you when you have someone running out to a baseball field or a football stadium trying to get on TV. I do want to say that sports is a billion-dollar industry, and boys and girls sports is the foundation to this billion-dollar industry. And for every athletic and sporting event, we work with Ben and Mark. They've been around half a century. They work with Big C Sports, whether you're a pro team, a collegiate team, or a high school team, even your mom and papa soccer leagues. When you reach out to them, let them know that Big C sent you. And also, Big C, I gotta bring this point up too. When I look at the fact, and you just touched it, you just touched on it, but Sean Hannity for Fox, he blamed Maxine Waters for a terrorist murdering people at a news station. I hope that Fox Network will apologize for that. She has no culpability in that whatsoever, but she is an African-American woman, and I know this insidious behavior that some networks will have. They want to point the finger at somebody of color. Well, she's not the reason that happened, and he should apologize to those family members because they're hurting today. And for him to blame Maxine Waters, who had nothing to do with it, we know that base they go to, and they want to try to get someone to think about how they want you to look at it. It has nothing to do with Waters. We could talk about gun control. They didn't blame the gun control people or the NRA. To blame Maxine Waters, not only was that a low blow, I hope that the Fox Network would suspend him, or at least have him get on his knees, as Giuliani says, and ask for forgiveness. That was horrible that you have a news person blaming a terrorist attack on a politician. Maxine Waters had nothing to do with it. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I believe she was in California at the time. And I believe this gentleman was white, Charlton.
Yep.
Who committed this act.
Maybe Handy doesn't know that.
And so one of the things that I have a problem with our media is that they never call these things terrorist acts if it's an American citizen committing these heinous crimes, Charlton. Now, we've had more of these heinous crimes committed by American citizens than we've had by foreign-born citizens.
They sure have.
But we never get the cry of building a wall against these American citizens. They all have mental issues. And I wonder, how do you come to that conclusion right away, Charlton, that the person has mental issues? You know that automatically. Well, he was white, he shot a dozen people. He had mental issues.
Yeah.
He had problems.
Yeah.
So if you knew all that, why did you stop him?
Yeah.
Just like when you say with Hannity, wanting to blame Maxine Waters, a politician from California.
Yep.
This happens in Baltimore, and I'm thinking that's roughly about close to 2,800 miles apart.
something like that. Okay? Yep.
2,800 miles apart. They no longer fly the supersonic jet anymore, Charlton,
no.
that Air France had.
Yes.
The Concorde. But, when you're searching for a reason not to be honest, let's blame the other party. That's what Hannity is. We know he's a staunch Republican. Let's blame the other party. Because of her rhetoric, this is the reason why this happened.
Yeah,
Not because of the rhetoric beat people up or take things back to the way they used to be.
Yep.
And I'll pay you legal fees.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with it. But when you're calling people fake, dishonest, these things happen, Charlton. People started to listen to what he said and take his negative venom, Charlton, and take it to the street and victimize other Americans.
Yeah, and I think, wasn't it Ben Carson that helped him get a $100 million loan, the head of housing and urban development that helped Hannity get $100 million, and he's going to blame Maxine Waters for a terrorist attack that happened on the East Coast. I just think that's horrible. It's irresponsible for a news person, and I'm glad that Don Lemon called him out last night on CNN News. I really love, and you can Google it. That's why it don't matter you're Democrat or Republican. Google what Hannity said and put yourself in the position of one of those family members, of people that worked in the news. So against his own brethren, when they tragically lost their lives, instead of him calling attention to the NRA, who advocate for guns, or calling attention to his own, POTUS, who says to beat the heck out of people, he'll pay your legal bills. Some people are dumb enough to listen to you. And I think every time one of these things happens, you guys, maybe they listen to what they were told by POTUS or people at Fox. I just hope that Fox will suspend them, because that's not right for those families to be having to deal with that, trying to make a political thing out of it. But Big C, we know they'll do whatever they want to do at Fox. They've been doing it for a long time. I do want to turn to the world of congratulations to you good old boys from Oregon. Now, I asked you yesterday, Big C, which tastes better, the beaver or the hog? I think last night the people ordered up beaver. Oregon State, another national championship. Your thoughts, Big C?
Well, I think that the Beavers ordered up some ribs or something, because they had the whole hog last night, Charlton.
Yep.
I mean, when you think about it, they kept him out, Charlton, in his final game.
Yeah.
I mean, and kudos to Oregon State. Just a marvelous program, Charlton, that has risen up and won 3 national titles, Charlton, in the last decade and a half in college baseball. This is the pride of the Pacific Northwest right now, Charlton. Everybody's talked about the football programs up there over the decades, University of Washington,
yes,
University of Oregon, how well they have played in the Pac-12. But here's a team, Charlton, that has gone under the radar.
Yeah.
And won 3 national championships in basketball, Charlton, baseball.
Yeah.
Beating the best of the best. I mean, this is a conference that's been synonymous with College World Series. You think about UCLA has won, USC, Stanford. All of these schools have won national championships.
Arizona State,
but
I believe,
none of them have done it at the rate of Oregon State.
Yeah.
And you got to take your hat off, Charlton, last night to their young pitcher who pitched that complete game.
He didn't want to come out. Yeah.
He didn't want to come out. Hey, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, Charlton. You're not going to go back to the World Series if you're a junior or a senior generally.
Yes.
And have an opportunity. But when you have an opportunity to make history and throw a final game shutout, even if you've been drafted by the majors, Charlton,
yes,
you have time to rest.
You do.
And I applaud that young man for sticking with his guns, saying, hey, Coach, I got this. Don't take this away from me. And then I applaud that coach saying, get it done.
He trusted his player. That's the thing, too. That coach has won a lot. And you win by committee. And you win by having, coaches know when players, especially a good pitcher who throws hard, has good control, once you get to about 100 pitchers, they know it's time to pull the plug, because they just know it in Major League Baseball, and also in college baseball. For people who saw this series, you saw baseball being played not only at its best by the athletes, but you saw it being managed by its best as a manager. And just to see the way he let that young man advocate. And he said, look, if you get one person on base, you're coming out. So I love the interaction. And I'm glad people got the chance to see that. It's not always set in stone. Sometimes a coach wants to see, does this guy believe he has it? Or is he just hoping that I pull him? And I think a lot of Major League Baseball players can learn from that. If you think you still got it, advocate for yourself. Coach let him stay in, and they got a championship. Congratulations to the Oregon Ducks. I want to just say there's a little bit of a trend, Big C. A trend's happening on the West Coast. If you notice how Oregon State won the college baseball national championship for the men's, and I know the Washington Huskies, they battled close too, and they were in there with Florida State. But track and field, USC Trojans, that women's competition they had, I think she overtook a girl from Purdue, and they actually edged out Georgia by 1 point for the national championship. Chris Peterson has a good-looking football program coming back to the University of Washington, and they may or may not be ranked as one of the challengers for the Pac-12 conference to win a football championship. But you know that Pac-12 will host the national championship football game this year down at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. Do you feel maybe that breeze, that Pacific Ocean breeze coming back to those teams from the West Coast that used to be USC, UCLA back in the day, Big C? Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you got a lot of programs that are out there rebuilding. I mean, Kevin Sumlin is going to be there at the University of Arizona now. We know he always brings a high-powered offense to the stage like he did at the University of Houston and the Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And you talked about the University of Washington. Jake Browning is returning, I believe.
Yeah.
And so he will be one of the most experienced quarterbacks in college football. And just 2 years ago, they were in the national playoffs, Charlton.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a team that really has a lot of promise. You know, we see this Peterson wherever he's been, whether it was at Boise State or Washington, he knows how to build a winner.
Yeah.
Oregon has a new head coach, Charlton. Stanford is always that consistent trouble team on the West, Charlton, that will bring smash mouth football in your house any day of the week.
Yep.
So, you know, the teams in the desert are the ones like Arizona State you got to worry about a little bit. But USC and UCLA looking for new starting quarterbacks this coming season, Charlton.
Yeah.
Washington could be the cream of the crop on the West Coast.
Yeah, I think they will. And Kelly down there at UCLA, it's going to take him a while to build that type of Oregon program in the Rose Bowl. Different mentality. He'll get the athletes, but it's just a different atmosphere, and he'll probably have success, but it might take him a year. Also, I want to think about success, and I know you love golf, Big C. And when we think about golf, you think about Tiger Woods. He struggled a little bit yesterday, and there's something about Tiger that we talk about all the time, and I'm proud of the fact that today at the TPC Potomac in Alvin Farms, it's a CBS Sports. The purse is $7.1 million. Tiger shot a really good round, 65 today, finished 5 under. He's tied for 11, so he makes the cut going into the weekend. It's always great when he's back. So I just want to get your thoughts on something. How does he have such a bad outing yesterday? Comes out today, shoots the best round of golf that he's shot since he came back from his injury. And I just want to get your thoughts on, it can't be, maybe it is mental, because it's not physical. If he could do this at least 3 out of 4 days, then he's winning another tournament. But there's something about him that, I don't know, it's like he loses some focus or whatever it is. Big C, your thoughts on what's going to take for Tiger Woods, because he does have a chance to come up and maybe compete on Sunday for the championship, Big C.
Well, Charlton, it is mental. When you have more drives in the woods than what you have on the green,
no pun intended.
You might want to think about changing his name at this point in life.
Yeah.
You know, because he's starting to follow his name where the ball is going.
I just got that. He's done it for marketing.
He had a double bogey 6 on one hole, Charlton. You think about it. You take away that double bogey 6
yes,
and make it a par, he shoots 2 under.
Yeah.
But he had a couple bogeys on the day, Charlton. So this is where Tiger is that Tiger lines up with younger golfers that are using drivers.
Yes.
And maybe he needs to soften up the shaft on his clubs. Go to a flex shaft instead of this stiff steel shaft that he's using, Charlton.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to still overpower the drives. He's not going to compete with Dustin Johnson in a long ball contest, Charlton. Dustin's getting out there at 360.
Oh, really?
If Tiger plays at 300, 310, Charlton, Tiger can still compete.
Yes.
Because his irons are good. But it becomes mental with Tiger more than anything else. It's not that he doesn't have the physical tools to play this game. And everybody in the world is waiting on Tiger to find that mojo.
Yes.
Just to put together that solid 4 rounds. But what Tiger does is he takes himself out of contention in day one, Charlton, because he cannot shoot a subpar round. If Tiger could come out and shoot a 68 in the first round of a tournament, Charlton, he could win. But as long as he shoots even and 2 over, Charlton, in the first round of these tournaments,
Yeah.
he's not going to win. And everybody is talking about whether he's experimenting with a new putter. He's not experimenting. He's playing.
Yeah.
Experimenting is when you're in the back room and nobody knows where you are with the door locked. That's experimenting, okay?
like Lucille Ball, yeah.
You're not experimenting.
That's funny.
So Tiger's out there playing with a new putter.
Yes.
And the new putter is not what it is with Tiger, Charlton. If you don't get the ball in play,
Yeah.
then you're always chasing.
Yeah.
Okay? It's like going to Las Vegas. When you're doubling down on the table after moving several hands, you're chasing now, Charlton. And you're not going to catch up.
It sounds like you're speaking for some personal experience, the good old boys down in Vegas. But I do like the fact that whenever he's out there on the links, it makes you pay attention. Tied for first. There's a 3-way tie for first with Gay, Armour, and then Hostler. And Molinari's tied for fourth. But there's a lot of golf to be played this weekend, and it's just a matter of how well you go out there and do it. I think for a lot of the young people, right now we're at a time, and every generation can say this, Big C, but we're at a time when you look at the sports world, if you look at football, seeing Tom Brady and what he's done as far as chasing championships, and he's still playing right now. You know, he's past the great Joe Montana. He's past guys like Warren Moon as far as overall championships, and he's past guys like Terry Bradshaw and Roger Staubach. He's past those guys, Big C, in baseball. You know, right now, Trout might be playing the best baseball in Major League Baseball, but he still has that stigma. If he were in Dodger blue as opposed to playing in that Angels red, I think there would be a lot more media coverage on him. I know he gets a lot, but there's just a little bit something different. When you're playing for the Angels, it's like playing for the Clippers instead of the Lakers. But he is playing some really solid baseball right now. And then Altuve down there in Texas, that good old boy, they can swing the bat. Whether it's Judge out in New York City, a lot of young players. Stanton, we're right now, I'm not saying it's the days of Barry Bonds and Canseco and McGuire and Reggie Jackson, but it is dominant. But you look at NBA, we have Curry, LeBron James, we have Durant, we have Harden. You know, you can look at Paul, you can look at Davis, Antetokounmpo, so many up-and-coming stars. In the golf world, when Tiger Woods is still the number one name in the golf world, he's the number one name in the golf universe, Tiger Woods is, but you still have players that are better than him right now, but they don't pull the crowd. But look at how many great athletes we have in every sport that are playing at the top of their game, and that's a great time for sports, Big C. Your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, I'm going to take Tiger Woods and compare him to Magic Johnson.
How's that?
Everybody is thinking about what Magic did when he was a player, saying that he's going to make the same thing happen as an executive with the Lakers. But also, people forget the honeymoon that he had as a head coach, and I think he did 21 games as a head coach and resigned because he said, this is a different grind.
Yeah.
I can't control what players do on the court. And so he knew he wasn't cut out to be a bench coach, Charlton.
Yeah.
So he got out of that early before his career got tarnished as a player. And so when I look at where Tiger Woods is right now,
yes,
everybody is thinking back to when he was great. Things have changed. The game has changed. The courses have changed, Charlton. Everybody learned from what he did. Just as you saw with Magic. How many big guys handle the basketball now? Prior to Magic, Charlton, a point guard was 6 feet tall.
Yes.
6'1". All of a sudden, here's this big guy, 6'8", handling the basketball, controlling the game. Now you got everybody 6'8", 6'10", bringing the ball up and down the court. Everybody wants to be like Magic. He changed the pace of the game, Charlton.
Sure did.
Just like in golf, you look at Tiger. Everybody started watching what Tiger is doing. The long drive off the tee, Charlton, setting the tempo of the course. Now, when you look at golf, Charlton, any and every week there's always somebody different. The Tiger trained mentally, showed them how to play the game physically.
Yes.
That's the reason why Tiger is not the dominant golfer anymore, is because everybody emulated what Tiger did. And the same thing with Magic. Everybody has a big guy that can emulate what Magic Johnson did. They may not have the titles, but they can emulate what he did as a player. You just don't have a supporting cast.
Yes.
So I don't know if Magic has the ability to make the Lakers, again, what they once were when he was there. You think about that, even with Shaq and Kobe, Showtime wasn't what Showtime was with Magic in his game.
No, and I want to,
It changed.
Yeah, it did change. So when you think, whether it's Kawhi Leonard, or I think George is going to stay in OKC, but if it's a Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James, King James, what does Magic see in those? If he could get one of them, people automatically say LeBron, but LeBron's older than Kawhi Leonard. So whatever LeBron's going to do, he's probably already done as well as he's ever going to do in the league. Yeah, he may play another 4 or 5 years, but he's at the apex now. I know he had a fabulous year, but physically, I know he's probably better than the average athlete at his age. But every athlete hits that peak like an airplane. That airplane goes up, it flies, and then it has to start descending so it can find the runway. Big C, we know you guys use those parachutes. You guys don't have time for the airports. Big C jumping out of airplanes. But I think when you look at those two guys, Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James, if you are Magic Johnson and you're trying to do something for the Lakers long term, is LeBron a better choice than a Kawhi Leonard? Big C, your thoughts?
I think Paul George is the better choice if you're looking long-term, building a foundation there in L.A., because it's going to be 2 years before you can be competitive, regardless who you get, Charlton. I mean, when you bring in LeBron, you want instant gratification. He proved that in Miami, that you got semi-gratification. You got to the finals, but you could not win.
Yeah.
But at least he had a core of veterans, Charlton, that were all-stars, that knew how to compete at that NBA level. If you go to the Lakers now, Charlton, you have a recycling of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yes.
You got a lot of fans watching. You got a lot of players who knew how to lose last year. Now you're going to teach them all how to win in one season.
Well,
it doesn't happen that way in professional sports. The landscape is too steep now, Charlton.
Yes.
And especially in the Western Conference, when you got to line up against 8 teams that were in the playoffs last year, Charlton, and you got to play 60 of your games against those teams that were in the playoffs. That makes it a tough hill to climb in the Western Conference.
Remember how hot a coach Luke Walton was when Steve Kerr had to step aside for some, I guess he had some surgery on his back and had some issues with that. And then so Walton came in and people were saying, wow, Walton has as good a record or even better record than Kerr. And Kerr came back in. But so Walton gets the job in Los Angeles. Of course, he earned it because if they give you the job, you earn it. But that's that same Walton that the Buss family hired that didn't win 30 games last year. I think they won about 25 games last year, and they had some up-and-coming players. If no matter who comes, has he outlived his welcome in Los Angeles? Because as a coach, if you're going to bring in some guys who can win, they need someone who can get on them, not someone who's going to be looking at them and saying, oh, I can't believe we have this guy on our team. Big C, your thoughts?
Well, Charlton, you got to understand, the Lakers signed Walton, didn't they?
Yeah.
They didn't sign the Golden State Warriors. that was the difference.
Okay.
So I understand the product that he had to work with.
Yes.
And that's what people don't understand when they're looking at these coaches. Well, he was successful somewhere else. How many of the players that he had success with followed him, Charles?
Are you saying I could have coached Golden State to a championship, Big C? Is that what you're trying to say?
Let me put it in LeBron James' words, okay?
Yeah.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. Players from the Warriors followed Luke Walton to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why everybody said, well, he's going to have this instant success. When he got down there, it was a disgruntled franchise, Charlton, with a lot of inner bickering of players. So he had no chance. I don't care what they have on the roster right now. And then even again this year, the circus showed up.
Yes.
Who drafted the player, Charlton?
Yeah.
Magic.
Yeah.
Magic drafted a circus to come to L.A.
Yeah.
So Luke Walton hasn't gotten any help from management since he's been with the Lakers, including Magic Johnson. I know as much as people want to love and praise Magic, love him myself.
Yeah.
But you also got to look at the firestorm that he created for his head coach by drafting a local circus
Yeah, because the ball dad didn't add to it all. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going on in the sports universe. I think they're going to resume the World Cup play tomorrow now that AT&T found that Russia was tapping the Big C Sports line. So we wish everybody nothing but the best. Tiger Woods, I would hope that he could win this tournament over the weekend because it'd be great for the world of golf. We know WNBA is going strong. Congratulations to the Oregon State Beavers for winning the College Baseball National Championship. Also, I want to say congratulations to everybody in baseball. I hope they'll start letting people know baseball season is still happening. You can actually go to a game if they make the tickets affordable, especially in places like Miami. In Chicago, Illinois, as we speak, they have what's called the Big Three tournaments that are going on, and we hope a lot of people go out and support that. They're also coming to Northern California or later this year. Big C, back in the day, there was a man by the name of Drew Bundini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Rumble, young man, rumble. Big C, what are you looking forward to in the sports universe?
Well, Charlton, what I'm looking forward to is the next time I'm getting a chance to talk with you on the air. At that time, NBA free agency will be in full bloom, okay?
Yeah.
So all the prognosticators and the guys who guess wrong, we can talk about that.
We can all talk about it. And hopefully we're not one of them. If we are wrong, we ask you to Google it, too. And speaking of Googling, every Monday through Friday at 5 and 6 p.m. worldwide, follow Big C Sports on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C and them good old boys down south. As we always tell you, there's never, ever any excuse for domestic violence. If you know any man or woman going through that garbage, please call 911 because no man or woman should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. And as we always tell you on every Big C Sports show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we hope you have a super fantastic day.